In this video, you're going to learn how to build a SaaS application using Databutton. We're going to use a Databutton template, which gives us step-by-step instructions how to connect Firebase for authentication and our database, and how to connect Stripe for payments. By the end of the video, you're going to have the basics set up in your Databutton app to build on top of and finalize your SaaS app. Thank you so much to Databutton for sponsoring this video today. I think you're going to really enjoy learning what Databutton has to offer. Let's get into it. So we're inside of Databutton. I'm going to click Explore Templates. We're going to use a template for this to get started, which is going to really help us as we are building our app. So I'm going to click the Software as a Service Bootstrap template, click Use Template. Databutton is then going to send us to an onboarding flow. And I'm going to say I want to build a time tracking app for freelancers. Let's hit continue. For integrations, I'll say I want to save data of time tracking and Stripe for payments. Then I'll hit continue. For inspiration, if you want to search for like the time tracking app and paste that and take a screenshot and paste that in, that could work. Otherwise, I'm just going to skip this for now. And now I'm going to click Let's Start. It's going to create the app and get started with building out our plan and everything that is needed to build the app. So I went ahead and clicked the play button on this first task, which is setting up user authentication and database. And we can see it's telling us what to do, which is the first thing we need to do is set up our Firebase authentication. And it's going to guide us through that. So this is something where we need to do a little bit of manual work, but it's not too bad. It's telling us exactly what to do. So we're going to go to the Firebase console, create a new project, add the app, etc. So what I'm going to do is click that to go to the Firebase console. So here we go. I'm already logged into Firebase. If you are not logged in, then just create an account on Firebase. So then I'm going to click create a new project. It's going to be time tracking demo. And then I'm just going to click select parent resource and add it to my no code MBA folder. So if you don't have one, you should be able to just create a folder there. I'm going to click done and then continue. So then I can keep Google Analytics turned on for this. So I'll continue. I'll add my account. Actually, I'm going to go back. I don't need Google Analytics for this just because it's a test, but you could turn it on if you'd like. I would just like to make it a little bit easier for ourselves, just a little bit quicker. And this is just a demo, so I don't need Google Analytics. So it says it's ready. I'll just go ahead and click continue. So now that we're in the project, we're just going to click web. And now we're going to add Firebase to our web app. So I'm going to name this time tracking web app. And I'm not going to do hosting for now. I'm just going to register the app as it is. And then this is the configuration that we need. So what we need to do is just go ahead, copy this configuration. We need to go to Databutton, go to the top to Firebase, and then we need to paste in the configuration that we just got from Databutton. We're going to click Save New Config. And then I'm going to go back to Firebase and click Continue. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't say anything about this, but then Continue to Console. So that should be fine as is with NPM, and I'm going to continue to console. So now we have our Firebase set up. Firebase is our backend, like for authentication, database, that kind of thing. And now, here we go. It says it's successfully connected our app with Firebase authentication. So pretty easy to do. It might feel a little intimidating at first, but as you can see, it only took about 2 minutes to get that done. Okay, now there's a second step it wants us to do is setting up a service account. So in Firebase, we need to go to Project Overview and Project Settings. So we'll go back. We will go to Project Settings here. So just up at the top, Project Overview, we have our settings here, Project Settings. Then we're going to go to Service Accounts up at the top here. Then we're going to click on Python. We're going to click Generate a New Private Key. And it gives access to our Firebase services. That's what we want. We're going to click Generate Key. and it just downloaded that onto our system. And then here back in Databutton, we can see we need to open that file, copy the content, and Databutton, go to Settings, Secrets, and paste it in. So we go to Settings, we will go to Secrets, and then under the Firebase service account, we're going to reveal that and then paste that in. So I just opened that file, pasted it into that value, and hit Save. And now, step 3 in Firebase, we need to go to Authentication, click Get Started, and select Google, and add these domains. Okay, so we are pretty close. I like how Databutton just kind of tells us exactly what to do here. So now we need to go back to our project overview. We're going to click on Authentication. We're going to click Get Started. We're going to click Google. That's what it wanted us to do here. And then add the following authorized domains. So first, just databutton.com, and then our deployment URL will look like username.databutton.app. So let's go back to here. We are going to enable, and then just go ahead and add an email, which is going to be your account email. Public facing name, I'll just say time tracking Databutton. And then I'll go ahead and click Save. So then I asked Databutton how to actually do that step of adding the authorized domain. And to do that, we just have to go back to Firebase. Under Authentication on the top, go to Settings, go to Authorized Domains, and then this is where we add a domain, which is https ://databutton.com. So I'm going to add that. So I'm going to then go back to Databutton. So it looks like I only have to add Databutton. So I'm just going to say, just to clarify, I only have to add databutton.com as a verified domain. Okay, so what it's saying is right now, and this is what's helpful about Databutton, it kind of does this thinking and gives really thoughtful answers. For now, it says only do Databutton, but once we've deployed our app, we haven't deployed it yet, then we'll get another URL, which we would need to add at that point. So I think we're okay for now. So let me just go back up to what the steps were. So we did that. Then we need to set up the database. So in Firebase, go to Firestore database, click Create Database. So let's go to here. We'll go back to Project Overview. We're going to click on Firestore. We'll go ahead and click Create Database. And I think we can leave everything as default there. And production or test. So I'm going to go back to Databutton. It says select, but it doesn't say which one to select. It just says, so I'm going to say for Firestore, should I select production or test? And let's see if it can give me a little bit more guidance here. Okay, so it recommends starting in test mode. That's what I was thinking. So let's go back to Firestore, start in test and create. Okay, and I think it's set up now. I think that's all I had to do because it just said to create. Now it's and click enable. I think that's the same thing. So now in Databutton, click test connection in the Firebase button at the top of the screen. And here's what we're going to do. And it says 4 out of 4 test pass, which is exactly what we wanted, meaning it's initialized, authentication, and everything is on the database is all set up. Now you can try clicking the Right to Firestore button on the homepage of your app. So I'll click Preview. I'll click, and this is all in that template that we used. I'll click Right to Firestore, and success, it was written. Amazing. So I'm going to say, writing to Firestore, test worked. Yes, let's proceed. Okay. So all this was set up. Now, I would love if in the future, I wonder if this is like a Firebase limitation, like if this could all be automated and just kind of talk to Databutton. Again, it's not really very hard to do. It just takes a little bit of following directions. But yeah, not too bad. All right, so let's click yes. We're going to mark this task as done. And now we're going to move on to the next task. So I can go back to our plan and we can see. Now let's proceed to the second task, which is setting up payments for Stripe. So I'll just go ahead to 2 and I'm just going to click Start Task. Okay, so now it says before we begin with Stripe, we need to make sure your app is deployed, which is important. So I haven't deployed, so I guess it does want me to deploy that time tracker app, and I'm going to confirm. Great. And also, now that I have that URL, and then let's go up here, time tracker, and click deploy app. And now it's going to start deploying. So I think there's a username, and then there is a kind of this additional name here. Okay, so now it is successfully deployed. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that URL, go back to Firebase. We're going to go to the project overview. We're going to go to authentication, settings, authorized domain, and we're going to add this domain for our app to authorize it. I don't know if we have to have that time tracker or not there. So why don't I just add both just in case? So there we go. So now we should be all set. It looks like it just by default only did that without the slash afterwards, which is what we want. Okay, so I'm going to say, yes, it's now deployed. Okay, so it wants me to go to my Stripe account. We're going to want to create a pricing table, and then that's going to give us a pricing table to add here to our app. So to do this, we're going to go to Stripe. You want to go to sandboxes here at the top. We're going to click create. I'm going to name this Databutton time tracking. And then we can just do pre-configured and click get started. And then here we are in our sandbox. So at the top, I'm going to search for pricing table, create a pricing table. Let's go back to Databutton really quick to see what it needed from me. It just says create a pricing table. When you get to the confirmation page, set it to redirect back to our deployment URL /pricing. Okay, makes complete sense. So let's go back to Stripe. We will add a new product, which is going to be monthly plan. Let's just say recurring $49 a month, monthly. Just include the tax, and we can include marketing features, unlimited time tracking. We'll say helpful customer support. Let's just have those two for now. Okay. And description, we'll say unlimited access. Okay. So I'm going to add that product. So now we have this on our pricing table. Now we could add another one if we wanted. We could also add a free trial. But why don't I add another? Let's just keep that as it is. I think that's good. And let's just click continue just to make it simple. So I'll click continue. Then what we need to do is do the redirect. So here on the bottom, you just have to click don't show confirmation button, redirect to our website. So let's go back to our website here. And if we go to the deploy, we can just copy that to get our deployment URL. We'll go back to Stripe, paste that in, but instead of time tracker, we want /pricing is what it told us to do. So we'll click continue and allow customers to change products. That's fine. Right now, we only have one product anyway. So I'm going to click finish. Okay, great. And now we're probably going to need that code. I'm just going to copy it, but let's go back to Databutton. And once you've created your pricing, we'll provide you with a pricing table ID that you need. I'm going to say, okay, I created the pricing table. It didn't give me the ID, I don't think, or maybe that's in the code. If I go to pricing tables, it's giving me a script. So let's go back to Databutton. It might be, here's the ID inside that script. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now in the dashboard, it needs the API key, the pricing table ID. So we have all that. So we need to go to our Databutton workspace and click on settings on the top. Go to secrets, and then we're going to add Stripe API key, Stripe publishable key, and the pricing table ID. So go to settings, we'll go to secrets, and Stripe pricing publishable webhook, or API. So it already has these, which is great. So we'll go back to Stripe, search. Well, first we have the pricing table ID right here. So I'm going to copy that. Let's go back, pricing table ID, reveal, paste in, and check that off. Now we'll go to API keys. We have our publishable key and our secret key. So I'll copy the publishable. We'll go back, edit, paste that in, connect. We'll go back to Stripe, secret key. We'll go back to Databutton. The pricing, publishable. Okay, so it says API key. It's the secret key. So that's what I thought. I will paste that in because the webhook is something different. So I'll say I just added those 3 keys. Okay, so now we're gonna set up this webhook here, and this is gonna be to basically track, I think, like subscription updates. So in the Stripe dashboard, click on developers, go to webhooks, add destination, and in the Databutton workspace, go to settings, and then find in the production tag your API prefix. It should look something like this. Okay, so we need to go to settings. We need to go to, in Databutton, settings, production tab, API prefix. Here it is. So we're going to copy that and then do /webhook. Okay, and then we're going to get checkout session complete. So I know how to do this. We're going to go back, search for webhooks, go there, create an event destination. The endpoint URL is that what we just copied, /webhook. Believe that's what it is. Just double check. Yep, /webhook. Okay. Then what we're going to do is look for checkout session completed, add events, and then add an endpoint. And now if we go back to Databutton, webhook secret, and then webhook secret, we're going to reveal, copy that, go back to Databutton, and we'll go back to our secrets, and we're going to add that into our webhook secret. And hit save. Then it wants us to deploy our app again. And then once it's deployed, we will go ahead and let it know. Okay, so it's deployed. So I'll say, I just deployed this and completed the steps. Okay, so it says it's done. I'll click mark as done for step 2. We'll go back to our plan here. And now I think we can get to more of the fun part of actually building the features, because we've set up authentication, database, and Stripe, which are really the most important things for a SaaS. So we kind of have the fundamentals of our SaaS app set up now. So now look at the existing tasks, create new custom tasks, or start implementing. Okay, so why don't we let's see what we have here. Create a time tracking dashboard, implement time entry creation and management, add project. The first one I think I want to do is implement time creation and management, because that is the most fundamental part of the app. So I'm going to do that, and now we're going to let Databutton start building it. Again, it has reasoning in the reasoning with everything it does. So it thinks about it, creates a plan, and then is going to start writing the code. And it does take a little bit of time. And what Databutton is doing is it writes the code, it thinks about it, it writes the code, it thinks about it. So it's doing a lot here. It's implementing kind of a big feature, which is a little bit different from other AI coding tools, which they're not as easily able to implement like big features like this. Like you'd have to do it very much more step by step generally. So I'm just going to pause the video again and let it keep writing, and I'll let you know once it's finished. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask, I think it's stopped. So I'm going to say, is this complete? And let's see what it says. So it'll kind of review the code and let me know. Okay, it's not complete. They have to fix an issue. So I'll pause the video and let it keep working here. Okay, so now it says it is complete. So let's go to preview. Let's refresh. And we'll go to time entries. I think we need to sign in with Google. So I just signed in, and it's actually pretty cool that I can sign in within the Databutton editor. So I'm going to say, okay, here we go. It loaded. And I'll say create my first entry. We'll say project name is, um, let's say YouTube video recording videos. We can say it started 8:29 a.m., 10:29 a.m. design or like recording as tags. So I'll go ahead and click create. And it looks like there was an error. Okay. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to say, I tried adding an entry, but there was an error. So I'll pause the video and let it think about that. Okay, so now it's telling me what I need to do, which is just creating an index. So I'll copy that link. And then here in Firestore, it's just asking me to create an index. So I'll click save. And now there's an index and it's building. So hopefully that does resolve it. Okay, so now that the index is enabled, let's go back to Databutton. Here we go. And let's try again. I'll create another entry, YouTube video recording. Let's add a time and recording. And let's click create. And let's see. So I'm going to say, let me just refresh. Maybe I have to refresh first. Okay, cool. So that actually did work. So once I refreshed, both of them showed up. So it was saving, it just wasn't displaying it. Okay, great. Let me just try one more. Let me just add like, marketing or, X post research and work. We'll add in time. We'll click create. And there we go. So now it is working. I can edit it. Let's see, X posting work. If I save that, let's just make sure that all works. So that all works really well. That's great. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to say now it's working. Great. And then all we have to do is mark this as done. Okay, so we'll stop there. We've done a few steps in our plan. And basically to continue, we just go through with Databutton, continue with the plan, and continue adding features. So hopefully that you found this helpful to see how easy it is with Databutton to build an entire SaaS that has the backend, the authentication. It uses Firebase. It has a Stripe connection. And then you can build everything on top of that for a SaaS. That's all the kind of information and details you need to build a SaaS app. Thank you so much, Databutton, for sponsoring this video. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below. Click the link in the description to go to Databutton if you want to build your own app like this. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this to keep learning how to build with AI and no-code tools. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.